How often have you looked at a shot and thought, something is missing? Well, I certainly know that feeling, and a lot of times it just comes down to adding a little bit of character. There are lots of ways you can do this. One way is using vintage lenses, but that comes with its own set of problems, like lenses that are hard to work with or just very expensive. And then again, you're fixed with the look that these lenses give you. So wouldn't it be nice if you could use any lens, like the Sigma 18-35 here, and just add the exact kind of character you want with the click of a button? Well, I've created Optical Drift, a customizable lens emulation power grade for DaVinci Resolve. I've already used it to make iPhone footage look more organic, or to turn these budget anamorphics into super flexible optics for any look you want to create. And today, I want to show you how you can use Optical Drift yourself to give any lens that vintage flair. Watch this video until the end to get a 15% discount code on Optical Drift. Adding a vintage look to clean lenses is nothing new. In fact, there are plenty of Hollywood productions using this exact technique, and to me, this just opened up a whole new way of looking at the lenses I'm already using right now. So I've spent hours looking at stills shot on some of my favorite cinema lenses like the Hog anamorphics and built this look according to how light physically travels through the lens. The settings are all tweaked to the point where it looks the most authentic to me, but I also like to go in and change them around depending on the shot or lenses I was using on set. So let me show you how you can do that too. So I've already imported the Optical Drift power grade, as you can see here. There's a step-by-step user guide on how you can do that, included with the download folder you get with your purchase. So I have 3 shots here. One shot with the Sigma, which is a very clean lens, one shot with the Series Saturns, which I made a video about, and one shot with the iPhone 16 Pro, which I also made a video about. Now let's start with the Sigma shot. We just take Optical Drift and drag and drop it in this node section right here. Now it looks a little bit weird, and that's because we need to select our input. So I just activate this node by clicking on it right here. Now it looks even worse. We just go in here to input transform and select the camera log that we were shooting with. In this case, it was red log 3G10. And this looks a little bit better now. There's already a look applied to this, which you can see here, which is this node. This is just transforming it to ARRI log C, and this is giving it a look. You can apply any look you want after this whole section here. Just important that this section comes before you apply the look, but I'm going to show you how to do that later on. For now, we can just use this look node and adjust the contrast a little bit. And we're gonna fix these black borders in a second. I just want to show you what these nodes do. We have the vignette, we have distortion obviously, which is giving it a little bit of barrel distortion. We got some chromatic aberration, which you can see very subtly around here, around this microphone here, around the ball, and also the curtains. And we got the focus fall off, which doesn't really convey in this shot as much because it's already blurry, but we're gonna see that a bit more later on. So right now, let's just fix these black borders. We go in our timeline again, and then we just take an adjustment layer, which I already have prepared here, but you can just go into the effects node and type in adjust. And then we have an adjustment clip, which we just drag and drop over the shot, over the full length of the shot. And we just scale this up like so. So the black borders are just outside the frame. And this is our shot, before and after. So now let me show you how to customize Optical Drift to your liking so you can get a more extreme look out of it. For that, I've prepared this shot on the Series Saturn. And the Series Saturns are actually the reason why I created Optical Drift, is because they're really nice, compact and tiny lenses. But to me, they just lack a little bit of that anamorphic character that I want when using anamorphic lenses. So I created Optical Drift to still be able to use these budget, compact anamorphics, but then also get the exact look that I want. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you right now. So we drag and drop Optical Drift on here again. We activate the input node again, and we select our camera log. And as you can see, not that much has changed. We want like a real anamorphic look out of this. I'm just gonna tweak this. And now I like the way the vignette looks, so I'm gonna leave that as is. The distortion could be more for me, because you can see the barrel distortion here at the edges, but then when you get in, you can see that it's actually pincushion distortion. So let's just get very extreme with it. Something like this. And then we go into the chromatic aberration tab. Usually I'm pretty happy with the chromatic aberration, like it's just a very subtle thing. In this case, we can go a bit more crazy, so I'm just gonna push them the ways that they are actually already going to, something like that. And then the focus fall off, we can go in here and crank that up. You don't want to go too hard on that, but in this case I do want it to be shown. Make sure not to go too crazy. Remember to just like check it off and on again to see what it's actually doing. I think this is pretty nice. Again, we need to get rid of these borders, but we have black bars. So we just take another adjustment clip, put that on here, which is zooming it in, like the other one did. And then we have another adjustment clip on here, which is just cutting off the black borders. And now we have the same aspect ratio as before, but with that look applied to it. Now, if you want to use optical drift in combination with any other grading pipeline, like maybe use it with whatever you use to grade or even Dehancer, you can do that too. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that now. So for that, I have this clip shot on the iPhone, which is obviously very clean. And if you look close, it looks pretty digital. I'm going to start out by dragging and dropping optical drift on here. I'm gonna select the input, which in this case is Apple log. Now this looks nice. And you can already see what optical drift is doing right here with the chromatic aberration, the focus fall off. Makes this whole thing look much more organic. But I'm not really happy with the colors, so I'm actually just gonna delete the look node right here. And what we have now is an ARRI log C image already with the lens emulation on it. So we just use this image as the starting point and go from there. And something I like to do with footage like this, shot on iPhone or maybe even GoPro footage or any action cam footage, basically, we can apply motion blur. This is what this node is for. And it's just gonna smoothen out the motion that naturally comes from iPhone or action cam footage and make it look even more organic. So it is pretty important that all of this comes before the grading, just because we want this to be physically accurate. And if you shoot something and there's a certain character that comes from the lens, then that happens before you grade the footage. So this is what makes it look real. I'm gonna show you a little trick because I like to use Dehancer. Just gonna add another node that replaces the look node. And I'm gonna throw a Dehancer on, but I don't wanna do it in one single node. I wanna continue this physically accurate pipeline I have here and do the exact same thing with Dehancer. So I'm actually gonna split this film emulation up into different sections. First off, I'm just gonna turn off the film emulation and the grain. In this first node, we only want the bloom feature because that is something that happens in the lens. I'm just gonna label this as bloom. And then we're gonna get another corrector here. And this is gonna be the film print. So we don't have grain on here. We just select our camera, which in this case, we just have to select ARRI because we have converted our image in the beginning. ARRI Lexa Mini, log C. Now this already looks pretty dang nice. By the way, if you want to get Dehancer, don't forget to use code MortyFilms to get 10% off your lifetime license. And I love to use Kodak Vision 50D because this is just gonna make it look a little bit more neutral and it's easier to work with in my opinion. So I can tweak the exact look I want here, maybe even go with glossy paper. Just look at this, looks so nice already. Look at what a difference this power grade makes. And then we're gonna create another node, which is gonna be the halation, because that also happens on the film. Just add the halation. And then in the last step, we add the film grain, because that's gonna lay on top of everything. And we used a 50 And then obviously we also need to go back in here and add that adjustment layer. And this is basically it. This is how you get this kind of look out of an iPhone using optical drift. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of this year. I know it's a bold goal, but I believe that together we can do it. Also, you will be rewarded because in my next video, I'm gonna continue the collaboration with Media Division. So until then, check out Optical Drift and use the code October for 15% off if you purchase before Halloween.